Hello, welcome to my tag of the day. Today we are working on layered mini tags. These are great for small little pockets and elements inside of your journals. The tags are cut to 3 different sizes. I use all of my leftover scraps from other projects to cut papers down, so I have them ready to go to make these little tags. For them, you're going to choose your small elements. You can use the Snippets or Ephemera pieces from Tim Holtz. The ones I'm digging through here are ones that I've stamped and cut myself. I have a bunch ready to go for this exact situation. I like to use thinner chipboard pieces to help add a little bit of dimension. It would be the same as adding multiple layers of cardstock together just to give some height to what you're working on. I save the pieces from leftover notebooks, so it's a thin cardstock, or excuse me, chipboard that I add in between to give some dimension. So here I'm going to start layering. I am distressing different layers, different pieces. You can see there I was trying to show the dimension. Adding different stamped elements that I have, and we just layer them on. I like to offset the layers so it's not just a big stack. Here I decide I'm going to probably use some of the mini paper dolls. There's different sizes and different sets. When I open my packaging, I separate them by size. It works easier for me when I'm working on little things like this. Here I'm trying to just decide on placement and where I'm going to put it. I'm not sure if I'm convinced yet, so I just set that one aside. I'm going to work on another one. As you can see, initially when I started, I just pulled out a few pieces of pattern paper and cardstock in different sizes, and I have them ready to go. I add some distress oxide through a stencil to add a little bit more dimension, more interest to one of the pattern papers with the dots. And again, I start layering. So I stack this one more to the left. I'm using a We Are Memory Keepers corner punch for the angles of my tag. And here I am going to go with a different thickness of cardstock, or excuse me, I keep saying cardstock, chipboard. I do want it to be higher, so I'm using 2 layers of a thicker chipboard. I do make my chipboard smaller so that you don't see it as much when you're looking in between the layers. So here I'm layering, adding more distress, and then I'll decide which little elements I would like to use for this tag. I pull out my 49th and Market laser cut ephemera pieces. I usually leave those on the sheet because they're a little easier to store. I did decide I was going to switch with the butterfly from the first tag and the second. Adding the butterfly, I realized I want a little bit more, so I grabbed some tea-dyed cheesecloth just to add another layer of interest. Stick that down and add my butterfly element. I use my crocodile to add the hole for my tag. It's a small hole. I don't want anything really big because it's a small tag. I go back to the other tag. I swap out paper dolls. I'm using the Small Talk saying stickers from Tim Holtz. Adding my adhesive and finishing up this tag. For the third tag, I am going through the different pieces I have out and realize I don't really like the colors. So I'm trying to figure out what to do to add some color. I grabbed for some washi tape. The black polka dots was the first one that was there, so I decided to use it. Trim off the extra and decide how I'm going to layer. First, a little distress. I'm not sure I like these, so I'm switching out pieces. So these are the pre-cut pieces. I have them in a drawer. The one I chose, I needed more pink, so just used my Distress Oxide straight to the pad, heat set it, and adhere it down. Then layer another piece, some distress. This one does not have the added chipboard, so that it just makes it a little different. Each one's a little different. Adding a stamped label, and then deciding which other elements I want for this tag. I do go through my ephemera book. I do have a video of this ephemera book on my YouTube channel that you can find to see what it's about. I do store all of my larger Tim Holtz ephemera pieces in this book. It's just a little easier for me to flip through and decide which ones I like. I am working from the book, so it was hard to clip this out. Hopefully it's not too distracting behind, but I was trying to decide which elements I like. I decided I wanted more of a neutral. So I add that in right underneath the label. As I'm building my tags, I don't adhere every inch of the layers in case I need to tuck something underneath, which I did in this situation. I also grabbed for the Field Notes stamp set from Tim Holtz to add a received cancellation stamp and a little element of the figure 1 and 2 just to add a little bit more to the side. Once I was looking at the tag with the mushrooms, I did really like the mushrooms, but I think I wanted something taller. So I grabbed the other set of 49 and Market elements that I have and grabbed a taller mushroom for this tag and added it on. And I'm punching the corners out. Corner punch does make it easy. Now you have pieces that are the same size, your cuts. Now I'm going to add some twine to my tags so that they can dangle. They're perfect for pockets, small envelopes, or even dangling from the top of the page. You can use them for all types of things. But these are a fun way to use up your scrap pieces and your small little embellishments, ephemera pieces that you have. Thanks for watching, everyone. For more tags, visit my YouTube channel from my scrap room. And there's a playlist that has my Tag of the Day series. Happy crafting, everyone.